We'll soon be diving right into another segment discussing Nigeria at 64, the electricity generation and distribution. We're diving right into that sector this morning, and discussing that with us is Emeka Eze, the head corporate communication EEDC. That's Enugu Electricity Distribution Company. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Yeah, happy independence.
I wish you the same.
Okay, so quickly diving into the discussion this morning, what are the biggest obstacles you would say are currently facing the EEDC in Enugu, the electricity generation in Enugu?
Okay, thank you very much. I think it will be better to say challenges currently facing the distribution space. Enugu is not just operating in isolation. We have other players, and the challenges are basically the same. I'll start by saying that part of the major challenge we have is the knowledge gap that is prevalent in the space. Situation where your end users do not really understand the dynamics of your business, and that has created some kind of friction among the business and its end users, customers. The other part to it is also the issues around payment of energy bill. Some people still feel electricity should be provided, without being paid for, forgetting that is now a product that has to be paid for, and that the sector has been privatized. So the orientation need to change drastically so that we can tilt and head towards that point where we'll have a stable and efficient power sector. You can also talk about theft, energy theft. You can also talk about vandalism. You can also talk about assault of personnel who are carrying out their legitimate duties. You see them being assaulted because they've come to, perform their function. These and many others are challenges. Of course, I won't leave out the issue of funding. Funding is a major challenge that is affecting the sector.
Okay, so you talked about the privatization of the power sector. What is it intended to gain or achieve?
Okay, it's intended to make the sector commercially viable. It's intended to make the sector deliver efficient, service to the end users. Basically, that's the idea behind it, to run independently as a private enterprise,
Okay.
and also to deliver good service to end users, customers, and also support the government of the day in strengthening their infrastructure to deliver on their own promise. Of course, the state governments and the federal government, they also have plans, industrialization and all those. The power sector is meant, to support the actualization of those dreams.
Right. How do you think that the establishment of this new body, the EERC or so, I think there's a new body, the establishment of the Enugu Electricity Company.
Regulatory Commission.
Regulatory Commission,
yeah.
that is within the purview of the state government. How would it affect the operations of the EEDC?
Okay, the only thing that will happen in that's actually a fallout of the Electricity Act of 2023, which allowed states to now play within the space. Before now, it has always been in the center, but now states can generate, state can transmit, state can distribute. And before now, we have had the NEC, or up till now, it's the NEC, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, that oversees all the activities of the sector. But with this arrangement, you now have states going into this space, states issuing licenses to investors, states regulating electricity activities. So what it will do is that within Enugu State, will now as a company, set up a subsidiary company that will be interfacing with the EERC to ensure that we deliver on expectations. Okay, so it's just like having a mini neck within the space, but this time around, they are focusing on electricity activities within Enugu State. They can issue license to investors, people that might want to come in to play, maybe to set up generation plants, to do all sort of things around electricity. They are the ones. They also ensure compliance of the players, maybe the distribution company, ensuring that they play by the rules, and where they are found wanting, they apply the necessary sanction, just like what the NEC has been doing, all this while. So the creation, the enabling of states to play within the space has given rise to them setting up their own regulatory, framework, so to say. So that's basically is not going to be different from what has been in place. It's just that we now have a new arrangement, a more defined, arrangement within a more defined space to play.
If state starts generating their own electricity and then distributes, do you think it will be cheaper based on the fact that you are now in competition with the state-owned establishment? Do you think it will help electricity to be cheaper, or will it be a situation where we have like the telecommunications network where things have been unbundled? We have so many persons playing in. If you don't like this network, you're on this network, and you have. Do you think that is where this is headed?
Okay, this is like it's always said, this is something that is being experimented. It's not as if it's been somewhere else. We copied it from somewhere else. So it's as events unfold, we begin to see how things evolve. So one thing I'll say for sure is that it's going to give access to end users, customers, to electricity. Whether it will be cheaper is a function of various factors. I would like to say that electricity is not a cheap commodity. It's not something cheap. If you look at the way it's structured, right from the generation end from the transmission end to the distribution end, and when you aggregate the costs of generating it down to sending it to the end user, you can see that it comes at a cost. And unfortunately, our end users are not very comfortable with that. It will definitely make the sector a lot more efficient. They might begin to look for cheaper sources. Currently, what we have is gas-fired. Over 75% of the generation companies are fired with gas, and gas is priced in dollars. So if, for instance, they begin to look at wind, solar and others, those ones are renewables and they are cheaper. So to answer your question, that might also make it cheaper. If they get investors that might want to play within that space, naturally it won't be as expensive as what we have with the gas-fired, plants.
Okay, there's a whole lot. I don't know if time will permit us to speak on some of these issues, but let me just take them one at a time as it comes. There are a whole lot of persons who still complain that they have not been metered and that the estimated billing is more like fraud. That you people just estimate something and then give it to them, even when there is no lights in some places. How do you come to calculate somebody who is not metered?
Okay, thank you very much. I'll start by saying that metering gap is part of the challenge that the sector inherited. If prior to now, the then PACN and the then NEPA metered all its customers, I'm sure we won't have as much as what we have currently. And in all honesty, I'll also say that the business is desirous of having all its customers metered. Unfortunately, that cannot happen because of obvious reasons, the funding challenge. And as a business, we have also made efforts to close the gap, but we are not moving at the pace that is expected of us because we are incapacitated. We don't have the resources to go about that. Sometime, I think about 5 years or thereabout, we committed over 10 billion to metering. And
For the Southeast alone.
within our space,
Wow.
we committed 10 billion, and that was a far cry from what was needed. The projected sum was over 95 billion to meter our customers then. And mind you that every day the metering demand, if you move around, you see buildings springing up, they will all need meter to, to read their consumption. So the regulator is playing a very important role in ensuring that customers are not, shortchanged. Customers are fairly billed, and they've come up with different methodology in billing these customers. And some people say estimated billing is fraud. Some people are benefiting from estimated billing. I've had situation where a customer was on estimation and was metered, and he now started seeing that he's been on holiday. When he was on estimated platform, he was paying less. When he had meter, he was now paying the actual cost of energy he was consuming. And you begin to hear things like, this meter is tampered, is done in China, is running in kilometers. So these are some of the issues. It is in our best interest to have all our customers metered. That is the truth of the matter. And we are committed to it. Currently, there's a metering program, Meter Asset Provider, which the regulator designed, seeing the challenge in the sector and the need for the gap to be closed. They came up with this program for customers that are willing to take it up. And a lot of them are taking up this, and they're having their facilities metered, and they are reimbursed. They will get their money back. They're just bridging the funding gap that we are experiencing. There was a time the last administration came up with a national mass metering program. This one, they advanced loan to distribution companies to procure meters and deploy to customers at no cost. This very program, the distribution companies are the ones servicing the loan. It's a long-term loan. And unfortunately, we can't get such long-term loan, which we need, because most of the banks will give you short-term loan. And this kind of business is something that is a long-term based. So if you get a facility that is long-term, you can take your time to recoup your funds and deploy these meters. So the regulator is observing or monitoring, have come up with regulation on how to bill customers that are not metered, and we are following that. I also want to say that it might not be perfect, it might not be okay for everybody, and that is why we have the customer service unit, where you can come and lodge complaint, and the issue will be investigated and addressed as the case may be. So the regulator has come up with a program that we use in billing customers that are not metered, and we are following that religiously. However, anywhere where there are issues, our doors are open for customers to bring it up, and we look at it and
Some
address.
people have been complaining of overbilling, especially people at rural areas. So how do you regulate, how do you monitor these things to make sure they are not overbilled?
Okay, like I said, there are different ways you can achieve that. Some time ago, we invested in distribution transformer meters, DSS meters, for energy audit and energy accountability. And some of these rural areas that you're talking about, meters were deployed to their transformers. That gives us an idea of what they are consuming within that area. So you still see them crying that they don't have industry in their locality and that the bill is high. Meanwhile, visit that place, you see light bulbs on during the day, And they are using, most of them are using incandescent bulb, not even energy bulbs. So those energies that are being wasted during the day when they are not needed, the meter at that transformer is recording it. You understand? So that gives us an idea of what they are consuming, within the month. And we've also tried to sensitize them on the need to turn off light bulbs when they are not in use, and the need to manage and conserve energy, because at the long run, that energy that has been pushed to that community or that locality has to be paid for. So, to answer your question, we are working with the communities, various electricity committees, president generals, to ensure that we reduce these friction that we are having, within the space. There's a meter there that is giving us an idea of what you're consuming. If it's getting too much, we'll tell you, talk to your people. I have a community that before now, they were being billed 1.5 million, a 500 kVA transformer per month. Okay? And most times they will be complaining that the 1.5 was too much and all that. So a lot of issues were coming up. Eventually, we invested and deployed meter to the transformer. Do you know that on their own, they were now doing energy management? They were turning off their transformer because they saw from the meter that the thing was, the energy they were consuming was way higher than what they were paying. The next thing they did was to go and steal the meter. As we speak, they went and vandalized the meter. And all through my time in this business, I've not heard where they came and carried meter from a transformer point. But because they want to frustrate that, they are now paying, just like what I said. Most people that are unmetered, you see them, they will be, they will say all sorts, that they overbuild. Somebody has come to me that he wants to get rid of the meter that was installed for him, because he's now paying the actual. So I will say that the metering gap is a challenge for us. I will say that it is in our best interest to have all our customers, because that's the only way you can agree that you're actually consuming. Somebody will say he's been away for 100 years and the meter is recording. So who is consuming? Am I the one consuming? So, but when there's meter there, in all fairness, when there's meter, it helps a whole lot. Okay? But for customers that are unmetered, they have the option of, enrolling for the meter asset provider, and they have their facilities metered and they will be reimbursed, or wait for when we have.
Do you really take up that reimbursement?
It's already happening.
How many people or how many?
It's already happening. I'll not be able to give you the numbers. Now it's happening, and the regulator is also monitoring. You see, one thing I would like us to bear in mind here is that we have a regulator that is up on their toes, doing what they are supposed to do. And when you're found wanting, the hammer will get on you. So the regulator is monitoring this reimbursement. Just last week, we had a team from NEC visit our office on audit function. And these are some of the things they will look at. At the end of the day, they come up with their own position. And if there's any point where you're found wanting, you will be, the necessary sanction will be applied. So to answer your question, customers are being reimbursed. If you have a time, you can come around, we can show you proof to show that customers are being reimbursed. It might not be 100%. Somebody that just had the meter installed last week might not begin to collect his own reimbursement. These are things, scheduled reimbursements that happen every month. So to answer your questions, customers are being reimbursed.
Some of these meters, you talked about vandalizing the transformers or meters, or taking it off. Don't you think when there is no light, these are the things that could cause the hoodlums or the community people, to vandalize transformers or to steal meter? Because I believe that if there is light moving in those transformers and all of that, they wouldn't go vandalizing it. But when there is no light for a long time and they are being built they will take up the vandalism and then begin to steal meter.
You see, the issue of facilities being attacked when there's no supply. There's no way all the facilities or the network will be on at the same time with the allocation and the energy generation we have today. So if you're talking about, you're looking at a 24/7 availability for all the spaces that we cover. And that, for now, is not on the table. And it will also shock you that most of these vandals now vandalize installations when they are supply. It will shock you. But
They
that is
must be
happening.
experts.
We've gotten that report.
Okay.
When there's supply, you see them attack. I think they've upped their game now. Okay, so but that does not justify, all this whole thing. And part of what we've also done is to carry our customers along and get them to see the need to also put an eye on these facilities that are serving you. Because if you allow it to be vandalized, you'll be inconvenienced, okay? We as a business will also be inconvenienced because we are going to begin to look for funds to replace the transformer. But you, the customer, it will affect you more because that energy that you're not using, some other people are using it. So we are not totally, losing here. Because if you don't use the energy, it will move to other places and they will use it and they will pay. But you, because your facility has been attacked, you will be out. So the appeal here is for our customers to, join hands to see that their facilities are not attacked. Issue of vandalism is something that has been here, it's been in place before we even came on board, and it's happening. Even other utility companies are also complaining of vandalism. Look at the effort the state government is making in ensuring that water flows everywhere. People are already vandalizing. So it is something that we need to, address, and we need to see it as a challenge collectively and see to it that the facilities are not attacked. So if you're talking about, because they are not, there might be downtime. So if there's downtime, does that give is there enough reason for the facility to be attacked? The answer is no. So we need to see that as a challenge and work together to ensure that these facilities are not, attacked.
Okay.
So that's
all right. There are two key issues. The Minister for Power, Adebayo Adelabo, recently said that you will now have 20 hours of power for 40% of Nigerians. If you put that into perspective, bringing it down to Enugu State, we would say that 4 out of 10 Nigerians are having 20 hours of power supply in their homes. In the 17 local government areas of Enugu State, can you confirm that 40% of Enugu residents have 20 hours of supply across board? That's one. Two, in the news item that I saw sometime last week, EEDC sued SECA for 5 billion naira, and you said it's for disruption of your activities. What is that about, and why is EEDC going court regarding that matter?
Okay. To answer your question regarding the percentage of customers that are enjoying, you're referring to the Band A customers, okay?
Is it Band A?
Yeah, these are customers that are enjoying minimum of 20 hours.
Okay, is it what the man
Those
said?
are the ones affected, impacted by this. That's the aggregate percentage of customers that are impacted by the Band A feeder arrangement.
Okay.
So it's not something that is that cuts across everywhere. So if you come within our space, I think we have about 90 of our feeders on Band A.
90?
90 of our feeders on Band A radiating.
How many feeders you have?
That you dedicate 90 to Band A.
No, we have. I don't know, but 90.
estimate.
90
feeders are
90.
on Band A.
Yeah, they are
And
on
you can
Band A.
confirm that there's 20 hours of power.
Oh my goodness! You can also confirm it yourself.
I don't know if I'm on Band A because I'm not usually
You
at home,
see
so-
one interesting thing. Technology has helped us, be as transparent as possible. And like I said, the regulator, more than ever before, their searchlights are beaming on all the distribution companies. They've set up some measures through which this whole arrangement will be transparent, and we are playing by the rules. If you log on to our website, you see a tab that is feeder compliance. Feeder compliance. If you click on it, you see all the 90 feeders. You see the availability by the day. Availability by the day. Any of them that we fail to deliver on the minimum expectation, we need to notify the regulator. We also need to publish some kind of communication explaining to those customers why they were out. And we make sure that before the end of the month, we'll achieve average of that 20 hours that they are supposed to. It is running. You can check it. So this is not a case of somebody sitting down there and making insinuations. It's there. And if we fail to deliver on that, that feeder will be downgraded to band B. That means you're not able to deliver on this. And I can assure you that we are living up to that expectation. You can verify. Log on to our website, www.enugudisco.com. You see feeder compliance. You click on it, you see all the feeders and the areas that these feeders are, covering, and the days. I think it has a 1 week exposure. After this week, the next week, you see what is happening in those feeders, and it is transparent. It's something that people should take advantage of and follow, and ensure that they are getting what they are supposed to get. There's also a rapid response team set up to ensure that if there's a downtime on any of those feeders, that they call and this issue will be resolved.
Okay, so quickly, let's get your reaction on the SECA issue.
Yeah, okay. You made mention of EEDC suing SECA. Yes, although I wouldn't want to dwell so much because this is a matter that is in court. But we don't have, we're in a democratic dispensation, and people have the right to express, their grievances. And the business is a regulated business, and it has a regulator. And that regulator, as we know today, is NEC and none other. Just like your business is also regulated. You have MBC regulating you. I don't know if there's any SECA regulating you or coming to tell you what to do, or going to tell your customers not to pay their bills, or going to push a wrong narrative out there to customers, creating confusion everywhere. And that was what gave rise to the lawsuit. A situation where you come and tell people not to pay because they are underestimated. Okay? The regulator has come up with program or modalities of billing somebody that is not metered. And you're saying the person should not pay unless the person is metered. Okay, we have taken time. The funny thing is that when these guys came on board, of course, like I said, our doors are always open. We don't shut our doors at our customers. I said knowledge gap is a problem, and every opportunity we get, we try to use it to close that knowledge gap. That was what we tried to do with this group. They created a platform, and we all joined the group, and things were going on wrong in that platform, and we're trying to correct these impressions. Okay, somebody that has paid for meter, that has applied for meter, is enjoying supply, and at the end of the month, because he has applied for meter, he's saying he won't pay for what is consumed because he has applied for meter. These are things that we are seeing there. You come out, you tell people that EEDC has gotten meter, free meter, that they should go and apply. We never came out to say that we have free meter for people to go out, creating confusion everywhere.
Have you guys called them for a meeting?
Call them for a meeting. Is it not somebody that has ear that you call for meeting? Somebody that has an opinion, formed opinion, that does not want to hear anything. I don't know if you're privileged to be on that platform. Maybe you get on that platform and see what is happening there. The man is a dictator. He's there calling the shots, and if you try to bring up some reasonable side to his argument, he will delete you from that platform. Is that the kind of person that we should be engaging? Like I said, we are open. If we engage you, if we begin to engage you and you seem not to, maybe you have your own ulterior motive, there's where you're headed that we are not ready to, budge. We'll call you a shot.
Okay.
Okay, so we are in court, and I think the court will look into the matter. We have a regulator, which is NEC, and nobody can come and tell us how to run our business. If you have issues, we have channels through which you can lodge your complaints, and it will be looked into. Where you're not satisfied, you can escalate to the appropriate quarters, which is NEC, and it will be looked into.
Thank you. Emeka is time is not by our side this morning. Thank you very much. Emeka is a head corporate communications EEDC and Nugu chapter. All right, this is where we'll cut it a short on this episode, and we'll be heading over to